Family Factor, the #1 cable news show for 15 years and counting.
Thanks for staying with us. I'm Bill O'Reilly in the Weekdays of Bernie segment tonight. Two hot topics this evening, linking Republicans to terrorism and a new study out of Harvard saying Donald Trump is benefiting from media coverage. As some of you may know, I attended the Kennedy School of Government at Harvard, and that's where the Trump study was done. The conclusion, Donald Trump is exploiting the media, and that's why he's a nominee. The study was put together largely by liberal Democrats who now dominate the Kennedy School. Joining us now from North Carolina, Bernie Goldberg. What's the headline of the study for you?
Well, you spent time up there, so you can give me the behind-the-scenes story. But one headline is that in the early stages of the campaign, Donald Trump did better in the news media than Hillary Clinton, got more positive coverage because he was new, he was different, he was a shiny object, he was a reality TV show guy who was constantly rising in the polls. But now he's not new, he's not a shiny object, he's not different. The coverage will be relentlessly negative.
Right.
On the other side.
But there is what I saw the study is that they would say he got $55 million of free media coverage. Well, part of the reason, Bernie, is because Trump is accessible. I mean, and then they said, well, Governor Bush was second in this and that. We couldn't get Jeb Bush on a program. You know how many times we asked him to come on a program? You couldn't get him on. He wouldn't come on. Kasich wouldn't come on. They wouldn't come on. Trump would come on. So what do they expect? Of course he's going to get more media coverage.
Right. The point they're trying to make is that if you get a lot of media coverage early on, they say early on is when the media can make or break a candidate. Those are their words. And he got a lot of coverage early on for the reason you said, but also because he was so entertaining in a totally different way.
He wasn't boring like the others. And I told John Kasich, I said, look, we know you did a great job in Ohio, but you can't say it 86 times. You got to come out and say something new. All right?
Right.
And the other thing about the Kennedy School study is that it just totally discounted that Trump went on MSNBC, he went into the precincts that were hostile to him. Now he doesn't do that as much, but of course you're going to get more coverage. Of course when you call somebody Little Marco and when you run down, you're boring, you're fat, you're this, of course you're going to get more coverage.
But what's interesting to me is that it's going to be turned upside down. He got favorable coverage early on because he was so crazy in a way, so different, and now that they know him, he's going to.
Right.
And you and I could have predicted this 5 years ago. Whenever the Republicans pick their nominee, inevitably the Democrat gets much better coverage than the Republican.
All right. The second thing is that there is a New York Times. Was it an editorial or an article linking the GOP to Orlando in some way?
Right. I have a general rule. I don't read New York Times editorials because I don't like it when my head explodes. But I read this one, okay? I'm going to read you one short section of it. It says, hate crimes don't happen in a vacuum, which is true. They occur where bigotry is allowed to fester, where minorities are vilified, and where people are scapegoated for political gain. Tragically, this is the state of, you ready for this? This is the state of American politics, driven too often by, here we go, driven by Republican politicians who see prejudice as something to exploit, not extinguish. So let's see if we understand this. Because some Republican politicians are against same-sex marriage, they somehow are complicit in the murder of at least 49 innocent people. Really? By that logic, if Orlando happened 4 years ago, you know who would be complicit in the murders? Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, because they were also against same-sex marriage. Very quickly, this is how, I'm calling it an editorial, but it's really an indictment against Republicans and America itself, because this is how it ends. The 49 people killed in Orlando were victims of a terrorist attack, but they also need to be remembered as casualties of a society where hate has deep roots. What society is that, Bill? Is it the Islamic State where gay people are marched off of rooftops to their deaths? No. Is it parts of the Islamic world where simply being gay is punishable by death? No. The hateful, dangerous society that the editorial board of the New York Times is so worried about is the United States of America.
Right, which is legalizing gay marriage almost everywhere. All right, Bernie, good analysis. That was very to the point. I appreciate it.